Hey YouTube, this is me again. If you see me looking down, I actually made notes because I want to touch on a lot of stuff on this video, but I have to keep it under 15 minutes. I'm new to video part, so I'm not sure how to make videos longer. So if I go kind of fast, I apologize. Now, this video is going to go over moving, plus the benefits and the downsides of living on a military installation. Now, as I stated in a previous video, my husband, we actually put in the application for housing before he graduated from AIT. However, since until you actually have the hard copies of your orders, which you don't get until the very end, until you're literally about to leave, you can't actually put in. They can't try to find you a house or anything. And I think that's the one thing that they really don't tell you, because on the official spouse website that I'm on, I saw women, oh, you got to put in for housing, but no one said that you don't actually, until they have the hard copies. Yes, you could put in an application, but they can't actually touch your application. Now, as far as moving, there are two types of moving with the military. You can do a military move or you can do a self-move. My husband and I did a self-move. It's really going to be, you go to www.army.com and read up on both to see pretty much what fits your family. Now, if you have, a 5-bedroom home right now and you have all kinds of beds and then I would suggest you possibly do a military move, because that's going to be a lot on you. But if you don't really have all that, it may be easier to do the self move. Now, before they actually leave AIT, they are given a packet, which they give them everything that they're going to need. So they let them know in advance. Your soldier has to tell his upper commanders, his sergeants, which option you two are going to go with. So you're going to want to you have to talk about that before he actually leaves AIT. This is a regular Ziploc bag. I suggest that you get one of these. You can just get something that it's actually going to be secure. What you're going to do, my experience is with the self move, so I'm going to give you information as far as the self move. Now, with the self move, you do get reimbursed, hence the little baggie. Pretty much what's going to happen is you're going to put every single receipt that you have while you're actually moving. Now, the moving process is going to, you do get a per diem, and it's a set amount for the soldier, set amount for the spouse, set amount for children. Now, if you have like a mom or something like that that's just moving with you, when you move it, they don't get anything. It has to be a dependent. What happens is, depending on how far you move, you get mileage. Now, based on where our home zip code was, because that's what it's going to base it off of. It's not going to base it off of where he's at in AIT, because they know that he has to come get his family. Based on your home zip code, they're going to say, okay, well, this is where you're at, this is where you're going. And you get so many, depending on how many miles you have to go, they're going to calculate. I think it's like 350 miles per day that you get. Now, so if you have to go somewhere that is, 1,000 miles, that's going to end up being, you get per diem for 3 days. Because, understandably, nobody expects you to drive straight through, like that. Now, they do give them all of this information while they're in AIT. On the website that I'm on, which I'm only on one. I don't really do the whole first wives of Facebook and all that crap, no. I'm only on one. I'm only on the actual official, Army website. Now, I saw women post that they were... their reimbursement, the move reimbursement, they weren't actually getting the money. Well, they give you a list I mean, and it is detailed. It can look like it's intimidating, but it's really not. It's not a lot. I mean, honestly, it doesn't take a lot to do it and do it right. You just have to keep every receipt. You have to weigh your vehicle, which you can do that at any truck stop, which is what we did. We used a U-Haul, like one of the small U-Hauls. So we weighed our vehicle with the U-Haul hooked up with no one in the vehicle, and then once we put everything in the U-Haul and put everything in the back of our vehicle, we weighed it again. And you know, it was like $10. The weighing fee was like $10, but we got that back. You know, we got both of those fees reimbursed. Now, you also get reimbursed for things like cost. You know, like we had our oil changed when we were getting ready to move. We got reimbursed that. The hatch, the little thing that you have to actually hook up like a trailer onto your vehicle. I can't remember how much it was, but we got reimbursed for that. We got reimbursed for everything because, you know, I'm a big researcher. I say it all the time. My husband laughs at me for it, but because of the fact that I am such a big researcher, I do stuff the right way. Now, so that's as far as that, they do take everything to finance. You get reimbursed hotels. So if you have to, if you have to drive for days, and you have to stop like we did, we stopped after day one of driving, got a hotel, and started up on day two. Excuse me. So we got reimbursed for that day of the hotel. Then we got reimbursed for hotel once once you get onto your military installation. If you have to stay in a hotel, they reimburse you for so many days. Now, I was freaking out at first because I thought that since he didn't get his hard orders until the very end, I was like, okay, well, you're getting your hard copy of your orders, and you have to actually report, within 2 weeks or something, like a week or something. It was a week, but the process was actually pretty quick. We ended up staying, once we got to our military installation, we ended up staying in a hotel for maybe, I think we stayed for 3 days, maybe. And the third day was really optional. The third day we stayed because, yes, we did a move. We did our self-move, but we stayed in the third day because our bed wasn't put up. So, we didn't want to have to sleep on the floor. Now, the benefits for me for living on post, now, you do, one of the things with the military is you do get what's called base housing allowance. That pretty much is to cover your quote-unquote rent. Now, while your soldier is in AIT or basic, it's for the zip code that you're in, where the spouse, resides. Now, which you can go, you can Google it. You can go, if your husband hasn't left yet or you don't know what it's going to be, you can Google it, put in base housing allowance for a zip code, and it'll pull up and it'll show you. Now, because of the fact that we live on a military installation, when we actually officially moved in, our base housing was taken. But, you don't pay rent. So it's kind of like they take it in lieu of. One thing I will just throw out there to keep in mind that they don't tell you, when you move in that first month, you have to pay that out of pocket. Which, if you want to look at it, you've been getting base housing for months. So you may want, I don't know if you have to actually use it to pay your rent where you're at. But, then when you move to the military installation, you're going to have to pay that first month out of pocket. And you don't get that back. Because they, like I said, the military looks at it like, okay, well, we've already paid you the base housing for, just to give you an example, when we got here in October, we had to pay, and you don't pay like, we had to pay a percentage because we moved in on like the 4th or the 5th. I think it was 4th. We had to pay for like 26 days of rent. So they calculated it based on what the base housing is for this military installation, and they deducted 4 days off of it. And pretty much because he had already gotten the base housing for October, we kind of had to take that out of what he had already gotten. So it's not like you're paying it out of pocket. I guess it'll get kind of tricky if you are having to use your base housing to actually pay, your rent while he's in AIT and things like that. So just keep that in mind, because that's something that people really don't tell you. Now, so for us, I decided, we looked at it and researched, and we decided that we were going to live on a military installation, because the base housing, you want to look at it, say, okay, well, if the base housing is $1,000, I'm just giving an even number. If the base housing is $1,000, then you're going to want to find, how I look at it, you're going to want to find somewhere that the rent is, that $1,000 is going to cover the rent, plus it's going to cover your utilities, because you don't want to pay out of pocket when you could have had somewhere where it's, even if it's $150, that's $150 that base housing does not cover, and it's coming out of your guys' actual check. Now, you do get a food allowance. I can't remember the acronym for that, but you do get a food allowance. I can't remember. I know it's over $300. And pretty much what we do is I go shopping twice a month for the most part. That's what I try to do. Now, some people will tell you automatically, oh, well, just live off post, because you can keep your BHA, sorry. And if you find somewhere, like if like I said, I'm just going to go with the $1,000 example. Oh, well, if you find something that's $1,000, your BHA is $1,000, and if you find something that's $500 a month, even if you take your utilities out of that other $500, you're still pocketing probably $300. That may be the case, but you want to do what works best for your family. Now, the military installation that I live on is very nice. Our home is nice. There's nothing wrong with it. Nice size bedrooms. It's pretty nice. I have a nice neighborhood. It's really quiet. The only time it gets kind of, is when the people pick up their kids and stuff. You hear the school kids, because depending on the size of the military installation, you're at, there may be some schools, there may be one school, or there may be multiple schools. You may live on one that has 4 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, 2 high schools. It's possible, trust me. Now, let's see. The benefits for me is, I feel like on a military installation, it's just, to me, it's more convenient. My husband's job is about 5 minutes from our house, if that. And with him going to PT in the morning, he goes to PT in the morning. They get like an hour and a half break. But someone that lives off post, that hour and a half, they may be kind of stretching it a little bit, or they may even have to, that hour and a half is not really enough time. They may just, because I know some guys that work with my husband, they just shower where they do PT at, because that hour and a half is not enough. But see, my husband, because we live so, we live here and we live so close, he's able to go to PT, get all sweaty and all that, come home, take a shower, watch a little TV, eat some breakfast, then go to work. Then he's also able to, every single day, which I love, he's able to come home and eat lunch with me. I know come 5:15, 5:20, unless he has to go to the store or something like that, I know he's going to be home. So it's a lot more convenient. But again, it's what works for you. To be honest with you, with the military, there is no right or wrong. Nobody can tell you, oh, well, you have to live on a military base, or oh, you don't want to. I mean, it's up to you. We just decided for now it's on post. In the future, it may change. Who knows? But I'm almost at my 15-minute mark, and I don't want this video to get kicked off. So thank you for watching.